So today I'm going to give you guys 5 tips that I personally feel like will help you a lot in lower elo. Now while these do correlate pretty well to getting into higher elo, I feel like especially at lower elo, there's a lot of big mistakes that you personally can help fix in your team as far as team comp, team play, and I guess somewhat personal play. Now if that sounds interesting to you, then you've come to the right place. And if you'd like to see any more videos that are about tips like this in the future, hit the subscribe button. And also if you feel like I really missed something that you often use to carry your teams, please leave that down in the comment section down below. Anyways, let's just get started. Now, as far as the first thing that I feel like is very important for you to do at lower elos, that a lot of people don't really bother to do because they're just plainly focused on themselves, which is fine. Improving yourself is very good and something you do want to do. But one thing that I feel like a lot of people kind of miss is looking at your team comp and looking mainly at your teammates' profiles and seeing what they actually play. And what you can do with that is first off, learn what your teammates are playing and see if they're playing stuff that they're not normally great with. And if you see that they are playing something that they're not normally great with, maybe ask them to play a meta pick or switch to a more meta pick or a character that maybe they have a bit more time on. I feel like generally that itself can win you a ton of games. Often people are just trying different picks, they just want to go something else, or I don't know, they just aren't playing something that they're normally good at, or they're just playing something that isn't very meta at all. And while I'm fine with that, and I'm fine with you playing whoever you want to, often in your games you want your team to have the highest % chance of success, and if you know one character is generally better than another, and you can ask them to switch and they actually do go for that switch, that can help you quite a bit. Now, one tip for this tip is that you have to make sure that you yourself don't get mad when they don't bother to switch, and as well, you have to not really get mad at them for playing whatever hero they want to play. If they're randomly a Mercy main, but they want to play Reaper this game and they won't switch, don't get mad, just play the game out, try your best to carry them, but it's always worth a shot to ask your teammates to go pick that you feel like personally will really help your team a lot. Insta-locking is a thing that I also feel like is kind of important if you want to carry games. Now, I'm going to say it's a little bit different, though, than what you're probably thinking of. What you're probably thinking of is, you insta-lock your main, and then you stay on them no matter what, and you try to carry the game the hardest you can, no matter how bad the team comp is. I don't really say do that. What I'm going to tell you guys is to insta-lock your main every single game as fast as you can, look at your team comp once everyone else is locked in, and then switch if your team comp really sucks. Now, if you're on a King of the Hill map and you insta-lock DPS, and there's 3 DPS, 2 supports, and 1 tank, you don't really have to switch. That team comp can work. But let's say that you're playing on a different map like Dorado and you don't have a single tank, but you do have still 2 supports and then you have 4 DPS. You might want to switch off of your DPS pick to play a tank and help your team out like that. Generally, I feel like this is kind of the middle of the road solution that will help the most amount of people. You want to make sure that your team comp isn't completely terrible, but at the same time you want to get the highest % chance of getting your main as often as you possibly can, because simply put, if you're really good at your main and you think that you are better than people in your elo, you should be able to carry them, while at the same time you shouldn't be so stubborn with your main that you throw games with a bad team comp. So just kind of put those two together and try to use this the best you can. Now, as far as team fights go, I feel like this is very important, and as far as I guess teams go, I feel like this is very important. You need to get your team together and make so that they don't give up after losing the first point very quickly, or after doing very bad on your first offensive run. I feel like very often, when you do bad and you're the first person to mainly push offensively, your team just gonna kind of give up. They're gonna say, hey, this game's over, let's just give them the point, let's just not even try. But often what happens is that if you can get your team back together, if you can put the morale back up there, and if you can tell your team, hey guys, we still have a pretty good shot to win this, we have X, Y, and Z that's going to help us win, let's go for it, you can often win a lot of games. Just because, let's say, your team's offense isn't very good, doesn't mean your team's defense is bad, and doesn't mean the enemy team's offense is any good. For example, let's say that your offense is complete trash, but your defense is super great. And let's say the enemy's offense is okay, and their defense is trash. Well, you might have done bad for one portion of the game, but since you're better in general, when you add up everything together, you should be able to win that game. I feel like often what can kind of happen as far as winning or losing a game is that it depends on if you're the one that goes on offense first or you're the one that goes on defense first, because that can kind of change your team morale. You should really just kind of think of it that, we can probably win any of these games. Just because we're doing bad on the first point doesn't mean we're going to do bad for the rest of the game, and just try to put that in as much as you can. and try to convince your teammates of that. I know it is kind of hard. I know that a lot of people probably won't listen, but even if you can get 1 out of 10 games where people will keep trying, you're probably going to win about half of those. And that's half of those games that you would have lost for sure otherwise. So, take what you really can get. Now, as far as ultimates go, I feel like these are as well probably one of the most important things in the entire game, and especially at low elo, these are very underutilized. Now, other than just, getting all your ultimates together and comboing them and doing well like that, which is something that you do have to work on, making sure that your teammates aren't wasting their ults by themselves. That's something you got to work on with your team and with yourself. It comes with time and experience and with callouts. But one thing that you can do, starting right now, is actually call out people's ults that are up on your own team before a team fight begins. If you're like, hey, we have a Zarya ult, and we have a Genji ult, and we have an Ana ult, let's combo those. If everybody knows what the game plan is, if everybody knows what's going to be going on, and if everybody knows this very simple combo is going to be coming out, people will play likewise. People will try to group up the enemy team, they'll try to not go for as many picks, and probably get a good big team fight coming up in the middle, and then you can combo the enemy team down. Really just make sure to call out what ults your team has and what ults they should be doing. I know that they can just press the tab button and see it for themselves. I know that's a thing that is readily available, but many people don't. And many people kind of just don't really think that their teammates are going to do the combo. They're like, that's probably somebody's going to mess up. Nobody's going to really go for it. I'll just wait until I see a perfect time to use my ult myself. Try to make so that doesn't happen. Try to coordinate ults a little bit, even if you can just type, if nobody's in team chat, hey guys, let's use all of our ults next fight. Let's try to push as well as we can next fight with our ults. Anything like that, and just get people ready to use their ults. That can win you a game in itself. You do have to remember that often in esports, in low elo, and mid elo, wherever, ultimates win you games. Comboing ultimates win you games. And essentially just playing ultimates the best you can will win you a game. So do just try to kind of keep the importance of ultimates out, and try to really help your team out when knowing what to do as far as ultimates go. And finally, and this is probably the most important thing to do for Season 6, and one of the easiest things to do for Season 6 is, I guess, get an easy team comp going on. Don't get a team comp that has 3 DPS. Don't get a team comp that you need to get picks with. Don't get a team comp that's hard to go for. And instead, maybe do what's really good this season and go for a spam comp. A very easy comp that just spams out a ton of damage, that doesn't have to be way too coordinated, that just keeps attacking, and pretty far range, so it's hard to get picked. And just ask your team to play that. Now, that's essentially just ask your team and try to get as much as you can a Junkrat / Pharah, or maybe even both together with a Mercy. At lower elos, this is so hard to counter, and it's really hard to also mess up. Of course, you can mess it up by going in too far, but you can often just tell your teammates, hey, let's play back a little bit behind our tanks. And if they just play behind their tanks, spam a ton of damage, get healed and damage boosted by Mercy, that in itself will win you games. I know how dumb that sounds. I know you're like, hey, that doesn't require much skill. That doesn't require much outplay potential, much ultimate usage. And it doesn't really weigh too much. But you have to remember that just because something doesn't require an immense amount of skill, doesn't mean that it won't carry you up elos. That's just kind of how the ranking system works. If you could have, let's say, a Silver McCree versus a Silver Junkrat, I think it's pretty obvious to tell right now, as far as the meta and as far as how hard both those characters are to play, what one you probably want on your team. And if you could ask your teammates to maybe go one comp or another, that can win you a game. Of course, as well, this is like the first point that I was making earlier. Not everybody is going to switch, and a lot of people are going to ignore you. But again, if you can even get 1 out of every 5 games to try to get a spam comp going on, especially if you're losing, where people are much more likely to listen, because they want to do anything that they can to win, that can win you a game in itself. I know a lot of people want to hear, just get better at the game, just hard carry like that, and that will as well help you yourself carry. But as far as carrying your team, this is one thing that can carry your team, and just the general damage and DPS and AoE and burst that Junkrat and Pharah can bring, that can synergize so well with the rest of your teammates and with generally the rest of the heroes in Overwatch, and the protectiveness that these characters give you. All of that added together really can help your team as a team player and a team-based character. So if you want to help yourself carry your team, maybe play one of these guys yourself, or get your team to try to play spam comp like this. Anyways, as always, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and comment down below what you personally feel like are some pretty good tips to carry your team at low elo. Now, of course, as always, getting better, improving yourself, and just having amazing mechanics and amazing shot calling and everything will help yourself carry yourself out of low elo. But if you want to help your team win a few more games right now, this can be something that you can do, and it might be able to just help you climb in itself. Not always the best personal player climbs is something I want to say. Sometimes if you can make your team better in every single game, that can help you climb faster than just simply getting a better accuracy or getting more headshots or getting more DPS out there. Which is something kind of weird to say, but that's just kind of how the system works in general. Anyways, as always, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed as well. Press that subscribe button to see more videos like this in the future. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. I'd like to thank Gilded.gg for sponsoring this video and mainly helping me a lot through the adpocalypse. So, Gilded itself is a website focused on finding, founding, and expanding your gaming team with relative ease. You can schedule events, recruit new members, build team comps, and find teams to scrim with and to scrim against. Best of all to you guys, it's free. You can get started yourself with the link in the description below, and if you sign up by November 10th, you'll be entered into a chance to win a $50 Blizzard gift card. So, maybe I'll see you there.